everybody. How's everybody doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Alyssia Dotson, National Creative Team Lead with ALTERNA Hair Care. How is everybody doing out there? You made it. You made it to my class. I'm so excited. Yes, throw hearts in the chat, all the things. First off, give yourself a round of applause for just taking time to invest in yourself, right? Yes, yes, you're here. You're ready to really just embrace it. If you don't know by now, I love having a conversation and I love it to be a journey together. So I want you to leave that stylist that needs to be on the hour every single second. Leave them at the door. You are here to be creative. You're here to water yourself, and I want you to do that. So sit back, grab your notebook, grab your phone, all the things, ask the questions, soak it in, and we are gonna have a journey talking about everything curls, coils, and everything in between. We're going to talk about how to cut and approach it. Really, my goal is to empower you and show you how you can really approach and work with this texture type, which this guest is usually somebody that is wanting to really have options, right? Like that's the thing, they wanna have options. So my goal for you today is to really learn how to deal with that texture, whether you are cutting and you're gonna be styling it, or you're just wanting to give them another option on how to style and how to wear it. So that's my goal. Now, because I wanna feel like we're just chatting, right? We're just having a whole little kiki. I got Lisa Elliott is in the chat, and she is gonna be just dropping any answers as I'm going. If I can't see it, that way I can see you. That way we feel connected. Does that sound good? Does that sound good? Go ahead and throw a love hearts in the chat. Lisa will just let you know she's there. She's my eyes and ears, so that way we can have a whole conversation. I love, yes. So first thing that I want you to do is I want you, on a scale from 1 to 5, 5 being we are here to just celebrate curls and coils, I feel totally comfortable, sit all the curls, sit all the coils in the chair. For me, that's a 5. A 1 is, I love you, you're a great person, but I'm passing you to someone because that just scares me. I have no idea what to do. From a scale to 1 to 5, how comfortable are you guys with the curls and the coils when you talk about cutting them, when you talk about caring for them? How comfortable are you with? Let's see. I think I see some stuff dropping in. Lisa, do we see? We see a few different, okay. We're seeing some 4s, we're seeing some 5s, I'm seeing some few 2s. I love that you guys are being honest. Remember, this is a safe space. So we like to just feel like we're soaking stuff in and feel like we're just, it's a community. So I love that you guys are saying that. So that way we know where we're gonna go, right? So what I wanna do first is I wanna just give you an overview and what brought ALTERNA into that conversation as it relates to textures as far as curls and coils. I've been with the company now for over 10 years. I know, I started when I was 5. That's what I did. Over 10 years, and I love that this company, since 1997, it's about really empowering you to be a creative stylist. It's giving you that treatment from the inside out, so the hair is going to lay beautifully, the texture. I mean, I use it on myself and absolutely love it. So it gives me options and allows me to be creative. So those are some of the things that I love about the brand, and I'm gonna show you today how you can incorporate it behind the chair. Does that sound good? Give me some hands if we felt it sounds good. I love it, yes. So let's talk a little bit about this guest. The first thing that we're gonna do is spoil the coil, because we're wanting to spoil the coil. The haircut that we're doing is I'm a technique queen. I like to give you some techniques. I like to give you some different moves that you can work with, and then add them and incorporate them into any cut, but specifically we're gonna work them into this cut. This cut is gonna be for a guest that is really, I'm gonna bring the finished look so that way you can see. This is gonna be the finished look. So our guest here is, we are looking to really get that shape, but they want space for the curls to move. So you see it's got space, it's got movement, it's got a little volume. They just want a shape. That's it. They don't want to necessarily have just that symmetrical fro. They want to go in and actually get that curl definition. So with this cut, we wanted to create space for the hair and space for those curls to happen. So with this guest, think about how often are you gonna see this person? You're seeing this person probably, how often? Go ahead and drop it in. Usually about 6 months. 3 months is they really are just trying to come in and update you on their life. You're seeing them about every 6 months to sometimes a year. So you want to give them something that is going to allow them to still enjoy that style from wash day to wash day and from the time they're in your chair until the next time they come to your chair. Those are some of the things that you're thinking about. So with this, we are trying to solve problems and we're trying to create different options for them. So with this cut, we just want to create a little bit more movement and give a little bit more of that added movement through. So this is going to be our finished look. I left a little part here for our final so you could see the finish, like pulling it apart and just giving you that extra vavoom. So this is going to be our finished look. Now that you see the finished look, I know I like to give you the finished look first, and we're going to throw a little surprise in at the end. But now that we have that, let's talk about sectioning. And I believe Lisa's gonna drop the sectioning in. So with sectioning, you can see, got my cameras here so you can see. I'm just gonna keep turning while I'm talking, because why not? So with the sectioning, it's really about cutting the hair where it lives. This hair already expands and is out here, right? So we want to cut that hair where it lives. So we don't really deal with sections like section from ear to ear. It's about balance points, such as your interior balance point, such as your temple balance point, such as all these different balance points. That's our language for approaching haircuts. Because when you have balance points and you're cutting it based on those balance points, you get a more balanced haircut and it feels more curated. Who wants to walk out and feel like they have the same haircut as somebody else, right? Everyone wants to be the main character of their own story. I know I do. How about you? Yes. So with this, that's going to be our sectioning. Right? Y'all can go ahead and grab that. Perfect. So now that we have sectioning, I'm going to bring in my lovely other model here. I'm going to bring her in. All right. Can you tell they're triplets? This is Maya, that's Maye, and that's May, okay? So we got all three in the building today. So with Maya, what I did is I've already pre-cut. I pre-cut all of them, but I pre-cut a lot of this because I didn't want to just show you the finish, or show myself cutting the whole entire thing, because I want to get to good stuff too. And this is going to be one of the good things, but I want to take you through the entire journey. So with this, let's talk about the prep. The things that I prepped her with to start with is going to be our restructuring bond repair, the shampoo and the conditioner. Absolutely love it. And I know the first thing you think of when you're thinking about this, this texture type is like, what are some of the things you think of when you think of this texture? They need moisture. It's so thirsty. It needs all these things. You would never think of putting something in that's like bond repair. When you think of bond, you're like, uh-oh, is that a lot of protein? What's happening? Bond repair, our restructuring bond repair product, the line I absolutely love because it's strand building proteins. So think along the lines of bricklaying. So it's not gonna go in and just choke out and smother the hair. It's actually building, so it creates a more smooth surface and fills in any tears, gaps, fissures in the hair. So whether you're wearing her curly or you're wearing her straight and smooth, which we'll see a little bit later today, you have that option and it's gonna give you the moisture you need. So you have both of those options. I absolutely love that line for our textured guests because it just works beautifully. And I prepped her, I did shampoo, so the importance of consultation, moving through and actually consulting with this guest. What is their lifestyle like? What are they doing from wash day to wash day? These are some of the things that you want to talk about and you want to ask them. And then once you go through and you do that, you can now go through and shampoo them, condition them, and then do a little bit of a leave-in conditioner. I am working, in this particular case, with the replenishing moisture leave-in conditioning milk. So I am working with this guy because I like to use this as my cutting lotion and to cross-check. So I like using this for that. So I'm gonna go through with just a little bit just to have her add a little onto the hair. And I'm gonna work through these sections. So I've pre-cut through here, and through this area, I just use the technique that I'm gonna show you in just a sec, which is the palm hinge, as well as our C carving technique. So let's start in this zone here. And I'm just adding that product, and I'm not going through roughly with like the praying hands, roughing up the area. I'm going through and just distributing that product right through the hair. And I'm distributing the product first, and then I'm just gonna add a light amount of water just to mist it and soften it up a little bit and just add that product into it. Perfect. Just go through with just a little bit of water here. And what we want to do with this is we're wanting to really create space, remember? So that's one of the things that we're doing. So in creating that space, I'm going through with a wider tooth comb here, because we don't need to use a smaller tooth as we're working through. I'm just gonna section this part out, and I'm also working in 1-inch square sections. So going square section here. Now that I've done that, there we go. Square section, just gonna use my tail there. Taking my shears, and I'm grabbing just that section. And what I'm wanting to happen is I want it to just give me movement. Once again, I'm creating space. So I'm taking that hair, grabbing just from what my palm facing myself and hinging up. And I'm just gonna take just a little, I'm just cutting to the ends. I know somebody probably just said, oh my God, what's happening? What this is doing is creating that space right in this curl area, because a lot of times these guests, they wanna have a little bit of volume, right? So as they have that volume, they want support within that, but they also don't want it to just sit there and be like these pieces that are there, right? So I'm just going every other section, lifting up, and you can see, and if you can see that I'm just opening and closing to the ends. As I go and I'm pulling this out, I then can grab that little last, did you see that? Did you see that? Just grab that little straggler that's there. Finishing throughout, and I'm just gonna spin her so you can see here. And you do this all throughout this area. You see I left this part over that as well. So you're alternating, you're going between that area. Lift up. And I'm just, now how far out do you typically go? I'm glad you asked. One of the areas that you're going, how far out? You're going farther out so that way it's not too short, because you don't want that piece to shrink all the way in. So you want to come out far enough from the head to where it will then make sense to where when this piece falls down, you see it actually has that support and has that lift. Can you see that difference there?
Alyssia.
Yes.
We are getting, I just want to make sure everyone's clear where it seems like there might be a little bit of confusion if you're doing dry cutting, or if this, would you consider this wet cutting since you moistened it a little bit?
I love that question. So this would be typically, you would go with doing a more damp, not quite sopping wet, because we want the hair to have its curl. Think about if we were to wet this completely down, we don't see what the hair truly is doing. So it started out dry. I have now missed the hair to just slightly damp. I hope that answered your question. So it's giving a slight damp feel so that I can actually glide through the hair without having any snarls. But at the same time, I don't want the hair to be so wet that I can't flow through the hair well. Does that answer the question?
It does. Thank you. We also have another question. Well, two really. So on this cut, are you going from short to long? That's one. And then two is, what's the purpose of the technique again?
Oh, I love that. So with palm hinge, the thing, and I just want to make sure we got the question, when would I use this? I would like to use this when I'm working through and I want to get some, create some space. So I'm going to stand out of the way because I have on black. So black on black, just so you can't see. So you want to create space and movement. This is what this is about. Think about, once again, this guest, you're not going to see them for at least 6 months, right? So when they come back in and we've just created texture, we want to create these definitive lines. So I'm a visual person, so let me give you a visual. If you have a circle, how would we want to create a star? By creating these definitive lines, right? So if I create divots in each point, I now went from a circle to a star. And each one of those points would be the curl. Does that make sense? So when you're using this, you're wanting to create that space within the hair. And this is one of those things. So I'm never going to do it at the top area here, unless that's just that's what they're going for. They want to have these little pieces going through. But if they're really wanting to just create space and allow it to stand up and have movement and not just have a circle, this is where you would create this. You don't have to do this technique only on hair that's type 4. You can use this in any space. Like someone who has the hair that they just want to have one length, give a circa shear hair, right? Someone like that, if they're wanting to have that, but you want to have a little movement, or if the guest that always says, oh my God, I love having curls, but my curls just are all one curl. Guess what? They need some movement. This is a great technique for them for that. Okay? Beautiful. Did that answer the question, Lisa? Thank you for that. That was great.
It did, but I think we're getting a lot of questions, and I think we'll go with one that kind of asking where you're using this technique. Like, would you use it on the whole head? Is the nape cut that way?
Yes. So yes, you would use this everywhere except in the top zone here. Everywhere except this top zone. Why would we use it everywhere except here? Because this is the hair that's going to fall over that, right? Did you notice in this back area, let me bring my sectioning back out. Did you notice I did it right through this area here, but not up here? Because this is the hair that is going to stand up and move. So this guest is also not always wearing their hair natural. They want to wear their hair and have options, once again. So that's another thing that you're thinking about with this. So think about that when you're moving through. And you see our finished look. She's got movement, but she wants to be able to not just only wear it in this nice, beautiful, just symmetrical fro. She wants curls. She wants to create a little bit of space. Does that answer the question? Excellent. I love that. I love, love, love. So now we're going into our front area, and I'm going to start here. Let me just make sure that you can see. Beautiful. I'm going to add a little bit of product here. And I'm just going to take that to her hair. Now her hair, once again, is dry. I've already freshly washed her. She only has in a leave-in conditioner, something just to allow it to air dry. That's the other reason you want to make sure that you have almost a 2-part consultation with this guest. So I would do the first time talking to them, sitting down, talking about their lifestyle, what they want, what they're wanting to achieve, and then I would even suggest sending them home with the shampoo and conditioner that you're going to use on them anyway. That's going to be the consultation 1. Consultation 1, you're doing that. After that, they would come back in freshly washed with the new shampoo and conditioner that you've used, work it in your price, whatever you do. And then from there, it allows you to then already allow them to have get a feel of the product, and then also for you to know what's in their hair before you cut it. So once you've done that, just want to make sure, there we go. Once you've done that, you then would only give them the styling product that they're using. And then from there, add a little bit of water. And then from there, you can go through and you can actually then be able to work through the hair really nicely.
Alyssia.
Yes.
We're getting asked if you could maybe turn the mannequin or so we could see your actual subsection.
Yes, absolutely. I love that. Let's turn her. Okay. So I have only isolated out, everybody see that? Perfect. That is, I only isolated out a first, let's say it's about an inch back, right? Then I'm now going to be working in square sections. Why am I working in square sections? Because if I was to use this entire section, do we see what happens to this hair? It's over directing. That is not where that hair lives. Why would I cut it there if that's not where it lives, right? I'm going to cut it where it lives. So we want to control those areas. Now, once I've done that, I now can take the hair, right? And I'm now going to pivot up. And I'm wanting to just create a little bit of space. Now, I'm not trying to take this off. I'm just wanting to create space within here. And I'm just cutting through, taking those ends, and I'm just going to cut those little leftover pieces. What is this doing? It's now going to create space to that hair. So it went from this flat piece here. Let's just turn her. So you see how you have a little bit more movement through here, and this is just sitting and looking a little bit flat and just hanging. We want to give it a little bit of life. So it's adding a little life to it. I will tell you, I did go through and actually cut through the perimeter as well, just to take off any length. So this is going to be the time when you would cut off if she's wanting to do a big chop. It's a great time for you to go through and cut and create that shape, the perimeter. And then now we're going and we're just going to create a little bit of space and movement. Can you see that hair before I am doing anything else there, right? So I'm just going to create a little bit of space here. Take the hair, and I'm starting with my palm facing the head, lifting up, I'm pivoting, and I want my hand to be parallel to the floor. So not serving this, I'm serving this, giving a little bit of that parallel to the floor. And I'm just cutting, think like I'm cutting C's. That's going to be the C carving. And what I want to happen is I want those 3 points there, and any stragglers, you see those little straggle pieces, cut those off because you don't need those. And I'm just creating that movement through. Now she is not going to have a fringe. Once again, we're creating the movement. You see what happened over on the end here. I'm going to do it one more time. Lift up, going parallel to the floor. If I need to right that hair and I see that it's not, like there's pieces that are all scraggled in, I can just go through, comb through nicely. And just lift her up. And I'm just going, I'm leaving a lot of hair because what I'm wanting to do is I'm just creating a little bit of texture and movement. That is all. Just a little bit of texture and movement. Can you use this on hair beyond just the regular texture that absolutely you can. Absolutely you can. Same thing, you would move throughout. I'm going to do one more section. I've pre-cut this area. So I'm going to do one more area just to recap you. And you would follow through and do the same thing on the sides as well. And I'm just going to comb through, and I'm doing another 1-inch section. And I'll just isolate that out. Now, how do you cross-check this? Usually what you would do is you would cross-check by utilizing the product and just, same thing, taking that hair and smoothing out. And if you see any stragglers, clipping those away. Take just a little bit of product here. I'm just gonna grab that at the ends. Making sure she's hydrated. You wanna make sure you're using something that will allow you to work smarter, not harder. So using a nice, I love the leave-in conditioning milk because it's light enough, but it's still gonna give her hydration and give those thirsty curls a drink, right? That's what they need. And I'm just adding a little bit of water to those ends as well. And I'm also going this way. I'm not gonna be going underneath because then that's creating holes that you do not want to happen. You wanna be able to work in that area, and we're creating that movement throughout this area. I'm gonna just take a section here. Same thing.
Alyssia.
Yes.
Oops, sorry. We're getting several questions on this technique. I'll give you the first one. Would you do the main shape and perimeter first, then do this technique?
Yes, that's a great question. Yes, you would. Because, like I'm saying, this guest is wanting to create a little bit more option. They're wanting to have a little bit of movement, a little bit of space. Think we're going from the nice, perfect, that perfect round shape to now they want a little bit of movement. They're wanting to slip into their Diana Ross era, their Shaka Khan era. They want to have a little bit more movement to the hair. So this is the guest that wants that, but they still want to see you every 6 months, maybe 3 if they want to come and hang out. But they don't want to have to sacrifice how often they're coming, and they want the option to still be able to wear their curls. So this is going to be that person. I'm going to go through and do this one more time. And you see I'm lifting up and I'm holding with low tension as well. I just want to make sure you're mindful of that. You don't want to choke the hair, because what happens when you hold it too tight? Well, then you're pulling this hair and it's giving you a false sense of what it wants to do, right? So you want to make sure, and you can see, let me step away. You can see those little areas that you want to clip away. Those are the ones that you don't need. And see now, she has that space through the ends. So now there's air created in that area. So once this is wet and you're ready to curl it, you could actually go through and have a little bit more movement than you did before.
Got another question for you.
Yes. I love the questions,
I know,
guys. Can I just say I love the questions?
Christy's asking, is it ever recommended with this kind of texture to cut deeper into the length, like thinning more?
Oh, I love that. Was that Christy? Christy, great question. This would be that answer to that. Think about what we usually can't do with this texture of hair. What's the one tool you cannot bring anywhere near this texture? A thinning shear, right? This is giving you that answer. So you're able to create that movement. Do you see what already has happened now? Now she's got movement and space, and it's starting to give you that movement and space without compromising her curls. That's the one thing you can't do. So I would always say this is gonna be, say she wants to have a little bit, like she's very dense at closer to the scalp and she wants a little bit of movement, I would stay mid shaft to ends. This is where you're going with this technique. Does that answer your question, Christy? Let me know if it does. Thank you so much. That was a good one. I like it.
Can I give you one more?
Absolutely. Yes.
We have a great product question, actually.
I love it.
Mary Ann is asking, would you use the hydrating gelée in concert with the leave-in?
Oh, okay. I like that one. Would I use that? You know what? I would use that if I'm styling the hair. I would not necessarily use the leave-in smoothing gelée when I'm cutting the hair. Here's why. Because it gives you a little bit more slip and a little bit more movement. So I wouldn't want to do that and it then become this very almost like your shears are gliding, like skiing. Think about like sliding, like skiing down a slope and you don't have any brakes. It's just like that. You don't want that. So I would actually use that if I'm styling the hair, not necessarily going through and doing anything else. So does that answer your question? Let me know. I love it. That is one of my favorite products. Did you know that was my favorite product? Girl, listen to you. I love that. Very, very good. Okay, so I'm just gonna show you on the side, just so you, this side is already pre-cut. I'm gonna show this side so that way you can see it. And then we're gonna get right into how do you style this. Let me just hit a little bit of water to this. So the same technique would apply, and I have done this on the sides. Now you see, you can get 2 sections out of this on the sides here. And I'm just gonna take that hair and I'm just gonna come through. Yes, Lisa.
While you're doing that, Charmaine is asking, does the tension of the hair make a difference on how the curls look?
Yeah, okay, so I'm gonna, if you could clarify, I'm gonna answer the question based on how I'm assuming you are asking. Would it show how the curls will look as far as how they will present themselves when you're cutting? Question mark. That is gonna be what I would ask. If you're trying to ask a different one, let me know. But what if you have your tension at this, think about like what that hair is doing. I don't know if they can get close in on that, but if your hair, if you're holding tension like this, let me step out of the way. Where are those curls? Do we even see them? Like, are they there? Where is she? But the minute you loosen the tension, can you now see that the hair now has more space? That's truly what the hair does. So why I wouldn't want to do that, because if I cut it based on that, the minute that it rebounds back, that is when your guests will then clutch their pearls, because they didn't expect to see that much hair on the floor, right? So those are things you want to keep in mind. So you always want to go low tension, and you always want to maintain the length. So this, I'm holding the hair and I'm keeping that tension nice and soft and just relaxing my hand. So whether you're going this way, that it will allow you to really, you see this hair is over directing up, and then I'm just going through and I'm cutting as I'm going. So I'm cutting as I'm working through, right? And then once that goes, you see those little pieces, I then snip those, because then what happens, and now it's creating that space that I need. Great question. Tremaine, let me know if that answered your question, love. Perfect. And let's go through one more little area here. Still doing square sections. And I'm just wanting that hair to relax. And I'm just going through. You see how I have more hair happening too? I'm not doing too many. And I see that I already have this piece here, and I can just snip that off. So I don't want it to, I'm going a little deeper in because I want to allow that hair to have that movement that it needs there. So once I've finished all of this, and she's cut through, she's all through, I want to start styling. So this same side, I'll have that same movement. So now how do you style this? Because we've been moving through the hair, and as you're moving through the hair, you now need to refresh, revive the hair, right? So revive the curls. This is the moment when you want to go through and you want to actually, let's style her, let's take her to the shampoo bowl, shampoo it, and allow our guests' curls to rebound back. So before I actually show you that, let's take a look at this video that will show you how to revive and refresh wavy texture hair. Let's take a look.
Hey curly hair cuties.
What do you guys think? I know, look at this. Oh my God. What? That's already done. Just kidding. No, that's Maya. She decided to come over. Yes. No, actually, this is Maya. Here we go. That's Maya. So, styling. Let's go through styling. How do you style this? You want to walk through, and you're going through and you're actually coiling the hair. So, what I've used, and one of the things that I love being able to use is, I think Christy, I think that was you that brought this up. I absolutely love the Replenishing Moisture Leave-In Smoothing Gelée. This product, Desert Island. Desert Island, Desert Island. It is a treatment and a styler in one product. It does not have a hold to it. It's all about giving you shine and hydration. You can see how it moves right on my hand here. And what I like to use this for is I use this in combination with the curl defining gel from the My Hair, My Canvas line. I like using those two together and then just finger coiling the hair as I work. So I finger coil. This is going to be completely dry, but you see how soft this is? See how soft and how much movement you have there? That's the thing that I absolutely love. So once I've coiled it and I've worked through, just working through, coiling, allowing the hair to really coil up and make it and move as I wanted to, I would then set it in place and allow it to dry. Now you can pin down the roots if you'd like, if you want to have more of a smooth finish. For her, I want to have a little bit more of that like big feel to it. I want the drama. I want the drama. Give me the drama. So with that, I like to actually add in a little bit more, let the roots just lift up and take form. So with that, I would go through, let it set in place, and then start trying to actually pull it apart and allow you to see that. So I'm just gonna show you through how soft that is with the gel. Like, I mean, you're seeing this and it's moving, it's got a gel to it. Now, how would I go about pulling this apart? Could I still use that product when I'm pulling it apart? Absolutely. You can also, however, go through and use a little bit of this is another one of those, the Restructuring Bond Repair. It is the 3-in-1 sealing serum. Now, what makes this different? You saw the other one. This is going to be very rich on the hands. Feels like a serum, feels very, almost like a really soft, like you give you that high shine, but very light on the hair. This is living in that bond repair line. So once I've taken that, I'm now gonna take it, I've added it to my fingers, and I'm just going to separate gently these curls. What that does is it just allows you to have that sealed in moisture and then keep the structure of the hair too. So it smooths it and fills in any tears and gaps and fissures. So that's where you could actually use a nice, beautiful serum just to pull that hair apart softly and give it the separation. Now, why are we pulling it apart? Like, what's the purpose? Can't we just leave her like this? Well, would you ever leave a roller set with, like, let her walk out with the, like, roller set marks? I mean, I don't know if you do that, but that's not something that we would want to. We want them to have the whole experience, right? No part lines. Why? So this is the same thing. When you're setting the hair and you're setting, especially this texture, this type of hair, you want to make sure that you're letting it fully set in place before you touch it. Because the minute you touch it, you're starting to disrupt what you worked so hard to do, right? So I want to make sure that I'm really getting that separation and getting that movement. You can also add the 3-in-1 sealing serum into a conditioner and turn it into a steam treatment. So I like putting it into, adding that product into the bond repair, the Restructuring Bond Repair conditioner, and just turning it into a nice steam treatment for them. Those are a few options. I absolutely love that. And as I'm working, you see how it's like, a gel's not giving you any flakes. You're not having any flakes through, but you're also still having the memory. It's giving you the style memory you need. I'm just adding just a little, and I keep a little on my hand. People forget that your hands are a tool as well. So you can't forget about those. This is another thing you want to keep in mind when working with this texture and working with curls and coils is you're just wanting to give it guidance. We're not trying to smother the hair. We're not trying to stifle it or make it not live its best life. We want to just guide it and allow it to do its thing, right? At least that's what I try to do. I'm not trying to do too much with it. And I'm just separating through. Now I'm just gonna finish this out. That way you can see the finished look. While I'm finishing this out and you're getting to finish this and see, I'm just gonna finish through here. I'm gonna let you take a look at another video just to show you the curly texture and how to refresh and revive curly hair. So take a look.
So what we're gonna do is show you a very quick technique in order to define a lot of the curl, but yet still keep that body that we love.
See the curls. So it is a beautiful product to use on all curls, coils, everything in between. It's good for all curl types. So you can see that lift, that movement, it's giving you a lot of that movement, a lot of that texture and movement. I absolutely love. What do you guys think?
Yeah, Alyssia, they are loving it. We have a question though from Mabel. She's asking, do you always separate the coil starting at the ends versus the roots?
Mabel, can I hug you? Can I hug you? That is such a great question. Yes, you do want to separate from bottom up. Q Drake, started from the bottom, now we're here, right? You want to start from the bottom and work your way up. You do not, why? I'm glad you asked, because I'm sure you're like, why, girl? You want to make sure, think about what happens if you separate from the middle here and then just start working your way down. You will get tangled up in a knot because the hair is already curling around itself. So why in the world will we disrupt that? We want to work our way from the bottom and just separate slowly towards the top. So then what happens is it's almost like a nice little fan, right? It's starting here and then it's moving outward. So it gives you that expansion without you having all the disruption at the roots, because nobody wants roots where it's just like comb, knots. Then they'll have stuff to say to you, and I don't want that for you, right? Thank you for that question. That's such a great question. There you go. What do you guys think? I know. So that's the cut. I mean, it literally is just something to give you a little bit of movement, give you a little bit of life, give her a little bit of texture to the hair. She's just trying to actually get that movement, and she wants to have that option, right? So what if this guest, I know, drop some hearts. I know you guys are like, oh my God, what just happened? Huh? What? So say this guest, say Maya's like, okay, I want to change it up a little bit. What about like smoothing out my hair? Can I smooth out my hair? What if I want to actually sleek it out? I am so glad you asked. Like, that's going to be a difference. So I'm going to actually bring my other model on. Let me just move this out of the way, and we're just going to slide her right on in. And I'll just bring her in. I'm gonna bring her chair in because I got an actual person this time here. Let us just bring in Tiffany. Come on in, Tiffany. Hey girl, everybody say hey, Tiffany. I know, right? I know, she's getting all the love. I know, now it's like, whatever. She's not here, right? So, okay, silk press. I've already done half of it. I want to show you just how do you work through doing an actual silk press. What even is a silk press? What makes it different than a flat iron? Did somebody ask that? I know you're thinking it. What makes it different? With the flat iron, you are actually going through, and the flat iron is your workhorse, right? You're just flat ironing the hair. It also is not going to really, I mean, on this texture of hair, will a flat iron work? Is that the only thing? No, a silk press is the entire journey from start to finish. So it's not just the flat iron, it's also the blow dryer, it's also the shampoo, the conditioning, it's all these things that have now stair-stepped into changing the texture from that curl to this sleekness, right? That's the difference. That's what we're doing. And we're also wanting to send those curls on a temporary vacation. Did you hear me? Temporary vacation. We are not trying to have them go away forever. That is the key. So how do we get there? So I did prep her, same thing with the Bond Repair, the Restructuring Bond Repair shampoo and conditioner. I also, in this sense, used the Restructuring Bond Repair leave-in heat protection spray. This stuff is amazing. It protects up to 450 degrees and it goes on wet hair. So I would apply this because the blow dryer that I would use would be hot as well. So we're going to also use this when we're working through there. The other thing that I used is our new favorite. This is going to be a product you can use from shampoo bowl to finisher. And this is our Restructuring Bond Repair intensive, the leave-in intensive treatment mask. So this is going to give you that, it's a leave-in treatment that is a cream. And I'm actually going to add some to our hair because you can put this on from wet to dry. It will repair and reduce damage and repair breakage by 69% after one use. That's right, one. And it's giving you that nice smoothness. And think about when you're adding in smoothness and you're sleeking the hair, you're wanting those tears, gaps, fissures that usually happen mid shafts to ends. You want that to smooth out and you want to prepare a nice canvas to the hair, right? So if I already have all my heat protection in and I'm now just wanting to go through and I want to just smooth out the hair, right? So let me just bring over these. Now, while I'm letting these heat up, which you also don't want to heat up too hot, we're not trying to blow out anything. Let's talk about dryers. Like, what are some of the things that you're thinking about when you're working with dryers? With the dryers, I stretched her hair. So I personally love using a tool that will have a comb attachment on the ends. Or if you're gonna use a dryer, like this is why you would have two different dryers. What makes this different? This dryer is giving you high power, but the heat is not that hot, right? So it can get hot, but we're trying to get something that's gonna start altering that curl. So smoothing it out and working for us. This is gonna give me a little bit more heat. So I need something that's gonna slow down that power of speed, and it's gonna actually allow me to then really change that curl, go from curl to smoothness. Those are gonna be the differences. So this is what I'm working with when I'm working with those. Now say you're using a dryer, something that's gonna give you higher power, not high power, but a higher heat and lower power, like lower speed. You then could go in with the powder brush, something that's gonna help stretch out that hair. So we're stretching the hair. Why are we doing that? Because we wanna go through and we're starting from the shampoo bowl. So I'm wanting to stretch out the hair. You see how I can actually work through it? I'm stretching that hair out to smooth it out as much as I want it to. And that's when you're going through. So do you see why you don't want anything that's just speed, 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 but no heat? You are actually going through, and I'm altering it. I want to take it from that curl, something like going from, let's go analogy again, something like a wool fabric or a wool textile, and we're taking it to silk. That's what we're doing. And we're doing it temporarily because she wants to go back to the wool fabric, right? So I don't want to take that away completely, okay? So once I've done that, I can then take the hair. I've now finished out there. Now I can go through with some heat, flat iron. I'm gonna make this where I can actually work through and not have an issue. I'm gonna just take you here.
Alyssia,
Yes.
while you're getting that ready, we're getting questions about your model's haircut. Is it the same cut that you demoed on the mannequin?
Oh, that's a great question. No, actually, I'm glad y'all asked that. This is just a nice little trim to it. I did not do the same cut through. I added in just a little bit of movement. I took her ends, took away any of the split ends, dead ends, just giving her a fresh cut. It had actually been, I think she said it had been about 6 months to a year since her last cut. So she just wanted a nice fresh cut to the ends. She likes to wear her hair with the option. I did add in those right through the bottom here. I did add a little bit of that palm hinge through there just to create a little space and a little movement just from here down. So the only difference I did not do with the cut from here is I didn't take anything through the top because she actually likes it to have more of that, kind of have that weight to it where it adds that, have more of the shape of feeling more, having less round and more of that outward, almost like a tri-bell kind of feel, but not to the point where it has that movement. She wants that weight. So I gave her that option. So just giving her the movement here, not necessarily here. Does that make sense? So I added in and incorporated a little of the technique, but did not do the full cut on her. Did I answer it? I love it. All right, so now that we're working through, we're now gonna take her section. I've already added in product. She's already been prepped. And now I'm going to just take my iron. And do you see my section is nice and thin? And there's my iron, nice and thin. And I just want to take her just underneath, and I'm doing a single pass. Now, what's the key when you're doing a single pass? I want to single pass that, and I don't want to have to go over again, non-stop. Why don't I want to go over and over and over again non-stop? I'm going to go with a bigger comb here, still the same, but the smaller teeth. Because the more you pass over it, especially, and my heat is at 400, and I'm single passing her, and you see how that it actually just lays it down so nicely because I did all the work before. I am using an iron that has the ability to go infrared or also just your typical iron, so you can have the heat allowing that infrared light. The ions will help allow the product that we use to just go into that cortex and really hydrate it while still sealing and locking out any of that humidity. So allowing her to wear her hair, because a silk press should last you up to 2 weeks. I wear my silk press every 2 weeks. That's usually what I do. I mean, today it's a weekend. So I go through and just silking out the hair. And like I said, if you've done everything you've been able to do from the start, you should be able to just go through and pass through one single time. If you have to go through another time, and you see that I'm using my comb just to lead the way. Does that make sense?
Alyssia.
Yes.
We have a great question. Somebody wants to know, what are your 3 favorite ALTERNA products?
Oh, my 3 favorite ALTERNA products? Okay, well, depends on the day, depends on where I am. No, I'm just joking. I have a slew of them. But what's something that I travel with all the time? I always travel with the Smoothing Leave-In Gelée. I absolutely love that product. It just does so many things. I also absolutely love the Intense Ceramide shots from the Replenishing Moisture line. I love those. Those are great for just sealing the hair. And then I'm a huge, like a must, is having the 3-in-1 sealing serum. I have to have those products in my bag at all times because I can do so much with them, whether I'm curly, because I don't have a relaxer. I chose color. Can you tell? I chose color. So I want to be able to smooth out my hair, and I want it to last and be hydrated, right? So those are the ones that I use on myself and absolutely love. So, and then everything else just rotates out. Like, I play with everything. Great question. What are some of y'all's favorites? Y'all have to drop some in the chat. What do you have added on your shopping list? How about that? And I'm just working through, and you see, the thing with this hair texture and the hair type is patience. Just like with anything else, right? You want patience. If you move too quickly, you pay for it in the end, right? You don't want to move too quickly. You want to allow yourself the time and the patience to move, right? Those are the things you're thinking about. And just working through that section, you see how I'm able to just glide through the hair? And this is a time too where you could also talk to this guest about how they would care for this, what they would do. If you wanted to just seal it in even more, I hail from Dallas, Texas. So in Dallas, humidity is a thing. It also is a thing in all the other areas, in humid areas, or if you have somebody who goes through their own personal summer, let's just call it that, then you want to make sure that you give them the option on how to keep their hair from just swelling at the roots, right? So this is why you want to make sure that you're hydrating and still sealing those ends, right? So talking to them about that, sealing in the hair, how they're going to care for this silk press. How do they touch it up? Because usually if you've silked it out, they may touch it up maybe after a week. That's what they should be able to do. They should be able to seal it up after a week. And I'm just going to go through this last section here. And that way you can actually just see how that end works. And what I love about this, I'm so glad you guys got to hang out with me and just talk about like how to take care of hair. Like whether they're wearing it smooth, whether they're wearing it in curls, how to really care for it from the chair and between wash day to wash day, right? Those are the things. So I'm glad that you guys invested in yourself. I'm glad you took time to just water yourself, learn something new. I am glad you felt safe enough just to have the conversation. And ALTERNA's a great option to be able to give you to allow you to be creative and still give that guest what they need, because that guest also wants to be able to have options as well. They want to have that luxury experience as well, right? So why not? So I absolutely love that you were able to do that and you were able to really give your guests what they needed, and you're empowering yourself. See how that now just has that movement and that shine through? Look at that. Beautiful. So silky, so smooth. It just gives you that smoothness. If I touch up right through here, I'm just gonna get that little area. There we are. And see that shine? Look at that. What? But it still moves, because that's what you want. You want silk to move, right? Silk is not stiff. Now, the moisture intense ceramide shots, these are gonna be the shots there. And this is what you would add in, and they're just little capsules. They're actually biodegradable. And you just break them open and add a little bit of there we go. Add a little bit. It's just gonna give you that nice polished shine. And I just polish her off right at the ends. And that's it, guys. Oh my God. That time like flew, right? Look at that. Look at that hair. Well, I mean, we had a blast. Thank you guys so much. Be sure to follow ALTERNA Hair Care on all social platforms, all of them. Let's join the conversation. Let's continue. Follow Cosmoprof Beauty as well. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. 3rd year in a row. I had an absolute blast. We had an absolute blast. Did y'all have fun? We had so much fun. I hope you guys just follow me at Main Seamstress if you want to continue the conversation. I would love to chat with you guys. I'm so interactive, it's insane. I can't wait to see you on social media. I can't wait to see you in person and hug your neck. And until then, you made it. You invested in yourself. Isn't that amazing? I will see you guys next time. Thank you guys so much. ALTERNA, once again, is a great option for your guests that's trying to really just have other options on how to care for their hair. So for those guests, for the curls, the coils, and everything in between, don't forget about this line. It's amazing. I absolutely love it because it allows you to be your creative self, but it also is giving you that treatment as well. So until next time, I absolutely love you guys for watching. Thank you so much. Mwah! I'll see you guys later. Have a great time.